So you look under your kitchen sink and you see that drain pipe making this weird S shape down into the floor. And maybe somebody told you that thing is actually a code violation. They are right. That S-trap is not just outdated, it can actually siphon dry and let sewer gas back up into your kitchen. Not exactly what you want while you are cooking dinner. Today, I am going to walk you through the entire process of converting that old S-trap into a proper P-trap, step by step, from removing the old setup all the way through testing your new drain. And if you stick around to the end, I will share a trick for making sure your trap never loses its water seal again. Let us get into it. Converting an S-trap to a P-trap is one of those jobs that sounds a lot more intimidating than it actually is. Once you understand what is happening and why, the whole thing clicks into place. This is a solid intermediate project, and it is absolutely worth learning, because it brings your plumbing up to code and protects your family from sewer gas. So let us start with the basics. Here is what you need to understand. An S-trap gets its name because the pipe literally forms the shape of the letter S under your sink. It drops down from the tailpiece, curves up through the trap, and then drops straight back down into a drain line that exits through the floor. The problem is physics. When a big slug of water rushes through that S shape, it can create a siphon effect that pulls all the water right out of the trap. That water sitting in the bottom of the trap is your seal. It is the only thing standing between your kitchen and the sewer gas living in your drain pipes. Once that seal gets siphoned out, you have got an open path for methane, hydrogen sulfide, and other nasty gases to come right up into your home. A P-trap solves this by exiting horizontally into the wall instead of dropping straight down into the floor. That horizontal run breaks the siphon effect, and your water seal stays put. Every modern plumbing code requires P-traps for exactly this reason. So now that you know why we are doing this, let us talk about what you need. For this job, you are going to need a few specific tools and materials. On the tool side, grab a hacksaw or a reciprocating saw, a pipe cutter. If you have one for 1.5-inch pipe, channel lock pliers, a deburring tool or some sandpaper, a marker, a tape measure, and a bucket and some old towels. For materials, you will need a 1.5-inch P-trap kit, which you can find at any hardware store. You will also need a 1.5-inch sanitary tee, a short section of 1.5-inch pipe for your stub out into the wall, PVC or ABS cement, depending on what type of drain pipe you have, and primer if you are working with PVC. Quick way to tell the difference: ABS is black, PVC is white. Do not mix them up and do not use PVC cement on ABS or vice versa. You will also want a couple of 1.5-inch couplings and possibly a rubber Fernco coupling depending on what you find when you open things up. Pick up a tube of plumber's silicone too. With all your materials ready, let us prep the work area. First things first, turn off the water supply to your kitchen sink. You will find the shut-off valves on the hot and cold supply lines underneath the sink. Turn them clockwise until they stop. Then go ahead and run the faucet to drain any remaining water out of the lines. Now grab that bucket and place it directly under the existing S-trap, because there is going to be water sitting in that trap, and it is going to come out when you disconnect things. Lay your towels down around the base of the cabinet to catch any spillover. I also like to take a quick photo of the existing setup with my phone before I start taking anything apart. Trust me, having that reference picture can save you a headache later. Clear everything out from under the sink, give yourself room to work, and make sure you have good lighting down. There! A headlamp is worth its weight in gold for under-sink work. Quick thing before we move on. I have spent 35 years learning these fixes the hard way, and I put the best of what I know into a book called 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes. 122 pages of step-by-step repairs with 17 diagrams that can save you thousands. Scan the QR code on screen or hit the link in the description if you want the full guide. Now back to the fix. All right, time to remove the old S-trap. Start at the top where the trap connects to the sink tailpiece. You will see a slip nut there. Use your channel locks to loosen it by turning it counterclockwise. Then work your way down and loosen the slip nut at the bottom of the trap, where it connects to the drain pipe going into the floor. Have your bucket positioned right underneath, because as soon as that bottom connection breaks free, whatever water is sitting in the trap is coming out. Once both slip nuts are loose, pull the entire S-trap assembly free. Now here is the important part. You need to deal with that drain pipe coming up through the floor. In most cases, you are going to cap that off. Cut it down close to the floor level with your hacksaw and glue on a 1.5-inch cap using the appropriate cement. You do not want an open drain pipe sitting in your cabinet. That old floor penetration is done. Your new drain is going into the wall. Now comes the part that takes a little planning. You need to figure out exactly where your new drain stub out will come through the wall behind the sink. Ideally, you want the center of that stub out to be between 16 and 18 inches up from the floor. That gives you the right height to maintain proper drainage slope and keep your P-trap working correctly. Take your tape measure and figure out where the center of your sink tailpiece falls left to right, because your wall stub out should line up as close to that as possible. Mark that spot on the wall. Now here is where you need to be honest with yourself. If you open up that wall and find a drain line and vent stack that you can tie into, and you are comfortable cutting into the existing drain waste vent system, this is absolutely a doable project. But if there is no drain line anywhere near where you need to be, or if tying into the vent stack feels over your head, this is the point where calling a plumber makes sense. There is no shame in that. For most kitchen sinks, though, especially in older homes where an S-trap was originally installed, you will find a drain line in that wall within a couple of feet of where you need to be. You are going to cut into that existing drain line and install your 1.5-inch sanitary tee. Make sure the tee is oriented correctly with the sweep pointing in the direction of flow, which is downward toward the main drain. With your sanitary tee installed in the wall, you need to run a short stub out from the tee through the wall and into the cabinet. Cut a piece of 1.5-inch pipe long enough to extend about 3 to 4 inches past the wall surface into the cabinet space. Dry fit everything first. I cannot stress this enough. Dry fit the sanitary tee, the stub out pipe, everything before you grab the cement. Once you are happy with the alignment, take it all apart, apply your primer if you are using PVC, then apply your cement and assemble. You have got about 15 seconds of working time with PVC cement before it starts to set, so have your alignment marks ready. Give each joint a quarter turn as you push it together. That spreads the cement evenly. Hold each connection for about 30 seconds to prevent pushback. Now install an escutcheon plate where the pipe comes through the wall if you want a clean finished look. With the wall side done, let us put the P-trap together. Grab your P-trap kit. Most kits come with the curved trap piece, a trap arm that extends horizontally, and all the slip nuts and washers you need. Start by connecting the trap arm to the stub out coming out of the wall. Slide the slip nut and washer onto the trap arm. Insert it into the stub out and hand tighten the slip nut. Now take the curved trap piece and connect the top end to the sink tailpiece. Slip nut and washer go on first, then slide it up onto the tailpiece. The bottom of the curve connects to the trap arm. Here is where a lot of people run into trouble. The trap arm must maintain a slight downward slope from the P-trap toward the wall connection. You want about a 1/4 inch of drop per foot. That is not a lot, but it matters. If the trap arm slopes backward toward the sink, you are going to get slow drainage and standing water. Use your level if you need to. Once everything is lined up and sloping correctly, tighten all your slip nuts. Hand tight first, then about a half turn more with your channel locks. Do not over-tighten these. The nylon washers do the sealing work, and if you crank too hard, You will crack the nuts or deform the washers and create leaks. Time to test. Turn your shut-off valves back on slowly, counterclockwise. Check under the sink immediately for any drips at the supply connections. Now plug the sink and fill it about halfway with water. Pull the plug and let it all drain at once. This big rush of water is the real test. Watch every single connection point on that P-trap while the water drains. The slip nut at the tailpiece, the connections at the trap, and the connection at the wall. If you see any drips, tighten that specific slip nut just a little bit more. Run the water for a solid 2 or 3 minutes straight and check again. Once everything is dry, get down there one more time, about an hour later, and check with a dry paper towel at each joint. Sometimes a slow seep will not show up right away. Let us go over some issues you might run into and how to deal with them. First up, slow drainage after installation. This usually means your trap arm does not have enough slope toward the wall. Loosen the slip nuts and adjust the angle. You need that 1/4 inch per foot minimum. Next, a persistent drip at one of the slip nut connections. 9 times out of 10, this is a washer that is not seated properly. Take the connection apart. Make sure the washer is sitting flat and facing the right direction with the beveled side going into the fitting. Reassemble and retighten. Third, gurgling sounds when the sink drains. This is a venting issue. If the drain is not properly vented, air gets trapped and causes that gurgling noise. Your sanitary tee should be tied into a vented drain line. If it is not, you may need to install an air admittance valve on the drain line under the sink. Fourth, sewer smell even after installation. Check that your trap has water in it. Pour some water down the drain and see if the smell goes away. If the trap keeps losing water, you may have a venting problem that is causing the same siphon issue you were trying to fix. Fifth, the P-trap does not line up with both the tailpiece and the wall stub out. This is common, and it is why they make those kits with adjustable pieces. You can also use a 45-degree elbow on the tailpiece to shift the alignment slightly. Follow the steps we covered, and you should avoid most of these headaches. All right, here is that bonus tip I promised you. Once your P-trap is installed and tested, take a minute to install an escutcheon plate and apply a bead of silicone around the pipe where it enters the wall. This does 2 things. It gives you a clean, finished look, and more importantly, it seals that wall penetration, so you do not get insects, moisture, or odor coming through the gap between the pipe and the drywall. I do this on every single job, and it takes about 2 minutes. Just run a clean bead of plumber's silicone around the pipe, smooth it with a wet finger, and you are done. It is a small detail that makes a big difference in how the finished product looks and performs. Homeowners always notice that kind of attention to detail. All right, that is the full breakdown. Remember, every single plumbing fix I wish homeowners knew about is in my book, 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes That Will Save You $10,000. Scan the QR code on screen right now or grab it from the first link in the description. I appreciate you watching, and if you want more of these practical fixes, make sure to subscribe. I will see you in the next one.